Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be looking a bit further at Archangel and Psylocke. It seems pretty obvious that we're going to be getting both characters in the upcoming March event. And this is really good news. It's really kind of left field kind of champions that are coming our way from the comic books, and it's really nice and refreshing because I think not a lot of people were expecting to have Dormammu and to have the Hood, as well as Archangel and Psylocke coming into the game. So Kabam really are doing characters completely out there. So this is really fun times that we're having within the game. So I thought, really, well, let's have a look at some backstory to each character and kind of put them in a context of maybe a good story they could be implemented in. So what I can really say about the way that the characters look: Psylocke looks a lot better than the images we had. Again, I did say in the video that we didn't have HD quality. This is closer to the HD quality that we were really looking for to kind of get a pinpoint of what the character would look like. And this looks a lot better. The pixelated version did make the character of Psylocke look a bit bloated. In this kind of way, the character looks a lot better. Archangel looks impressive from the front as he does from the side when he's executing moves. My hope is that they don't replicate a lot of things with regards to wing movements with the character of Falcon, and he is using his wings a little bit more in the attack formation. So let's start off with Psylocke. We're going to have a look at her abilities and also a little bit of her backstory. So to start off with, Sir James Braddock was a Denzian of Otherworld and other dimensional realm. Merlin sent James to Earth to father the champion, who would be known as Captain Britain. Arriving in England, Dr. Braddock became one of the United Kingdom's leading research scientists. James soon married and set up home in Braddock Manor. There, James created a highly advanced supercomputer he named Mastermind. Dr. Braddock and Mrs. Maddock had 3 children: James Braddock, the eldest, and twins Brian and Elizabeth Braddock. When Betsy and Brian were in their early 20s, their parents were killed in an explosion in Dr. Braddock's laboratory caused by the malfunctioning computer Mastermind. Brian Braddock pursued most postgraduate studies in physics at Thames University, while Betsy worked as a chartered pilot. So, flight, who would know? After Brian became the hero Captain Britain, Betsy alerted him that their brother Jamie had been injured while testing his racing car in the grounds of Braddock Manor. Apparently an attack rather than an accident. Betsy flew Brian back to the manor, but their plane was downed as they neared the crash by the psychic powers of Dr. Sign. Luckily, both inside survived the crash. Dr. Sign subsequently mind-controlled Betsy into seeing her brothers as hideous monsters, causing her to attack them, but they managed to overpower her. A very kind of deep and dark start to this character. Killed parents. It seems to be a very kind of normal way that comic book characters get this kind of, I'd say, being of kind of distant, angry, kind of loners, kind of the Batman philosophy with things. So I found this weird story. For a time, she kind of adopted the Captain Britain kind of mantle. So Brian, her brother, Brian's enemy, the Vixen, lured her into an ambush where Slaymaster brutally beat Betsy and blinded her. Brian felt his twins' pain through her telepathy and the special bond they share, and came to Betsy's rescue, killing Slaymaster, and once again took up the Captain Britain mantle, which is kind of odd. First time then she rejected cybernetic eyes, and then there's like another twist where she kind of accepts the cybernetic eyes again, but she felt that during that time it kind of enhanced the telepathy, which I thought was a really kind of cool aspect to the character. We probably won't see it in Marvel Contest of Champions, but it's nice to kind of give it this kind of context and backstory to what's going on with their crazy life, because most of these people, most comic book characters, are crazy sons of bitches. So what linked Psylocke and Archangel at the time? It was just Angel. It was their romance. So they joined Uncanny X-Force together and had this kind of this relationship as he was dealing with a lot of problems, specifically between the Archangel kind of becoming more dominant in his life and the kind of inner turmoil that the character had. And this all happened due to Apocalypse Death triggering an Ascension protocol within the Dark Seed that Apocalypse had planted in Warren to turn him into Archangel. So basically it's kind of the planting of the next stages of Apocalypse. They were really worried that Archangel would then become apocalypse in essence. So really in future, and how the story kind of then continues on is that he must be slain in order to stop this from happening. Obviously you guys know how powerful Apocalypse is. We need to stop that now. So before we go and have a look at Archangel, let's quickly have a look at the powers and abilities of Psylocke, and it kind of give us an idea of what to expect when the character eventually comes into the game next month. Psylocke's a mutant, obviously. She's now a mega level mutant, and that's based on Jean Grey, which is kind of odd that Jean Grey is the one that kind of taps into the powers of her being an omega level, but it seems to be a lot of mutants seem to have this kind of tapped in power where they can become a mega level. I suppose if you train your abilities more or have the potential within you to achieve that, then it's, you know, anything can be possible. Telekinesis is something within Marvel Contest of Champions that we haven't seen a great amount of, actually, if anything. That's an argument between having a proper Jean Grey in the game and also other characters in future that should have telekinetic abilities. So that's something we still haven't seen, and it would be kind of interesting or nice to kind of see that, where the kind of characters picked up and then thrown around by the power of the mind. I can't remember if Thanos has it on L3 when he shows a bit of that. If not, it should be something that we see in future. Force fields and any kind of future kind of physical telekinetic things that one creates. I mean, that would be cool to see a telekinetic shield being put into that, telekinetic weapons, telekinetic katana. Now, obviously, we do get the katana. Psylocke can manifest a telekinetic katana blade composed of raw psi energy at will, which at the lowest intensity functions to disrupt neural pathways at its highest level. Very interesting. Also going further, other things, crossbows, bow and arrows, spiked flail, claws, all formed with telekinetic. Obviously, we'd expect that to be more of a kind of a purple physical type thing. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. It's probably going to be an exaggeration of the katana in some way. So you'd be expecting that to kind of glow purple in forms of attack. Will it cause anything else, like, I don't know, a power burn? I would probably say that would be the way that the game would go. They would do like more of a power burn. There would be a significant, or there could be a bleed with it. It seems obvious with that, or maybe like a different kind of bleed, like a power bleed of some kind, because we would be essentially kind of reducing certain power. But obviously this is being collected by somebody's mind. Somebody's mind is creating this. And also, will we see certain characters that should have things like telekinetic resistant or telekinesis immune characters? The fact that Magneto wears that helmet, which means that he's immune to telekinesis. The same thing with Juggernaut. And I'm sure there's other characters with regards to that, like Dormammu should be telekinetic resistant. This is something that needs to be put into the game, telekinesis, and it's a big argument for myself, you know, if they're going further with stuff, characters like doing a proper mutant Jean Grey, or doing a Charles Xavier, then we've got to look into telekinesis going forward. So this should be the start point of when we make those changes going forward. So due to a lot of a mental strength, there's a big thing on mental paralysis, mental amnesia, physionic blasts, and physionic immunity. So things with regards to, you know, stuns, should the character then have some sort of stun immunity. The same thing with regards to like psionic blast, like energy blast, force box, things like that. Should the character then be resistant to certain things? How amazing and how kind of resistant could Kabam make the character when we see it? And it's really hard to tell. I'm really hoping that when they put the character in, that they do develop this kind of telekinesis, which we still haven't seen within the game. That would be quite exciting. So moving on to Archangel, Warren Kenneth Worthington III is the mutant son of the wealthy Warren K. Worthington Jr. and his wife Catherine, neither of whom were aware that their son had developed a pair of large feathered wings extending from his back, enabling him to fly. On the other hand, Dr. Stewart, who delivered him and immediately spotted the distortion of his shoulder blades and guessed what he would become. So this is a character that starts off as Angel, a very kind of like, you know, disturbed character with stuff, trying to hide it from everybody that he had wings. The character starts off not particularly interesting, and it's kind of that mediocre type character where you would easily forget about him. 6 foot, 150 pounds, so he's just a tiny bit taller than, or maybe the same height as Psylocke, and weight, he weighs a lot less. And nothing really happens to the character until the Archangel saga. It's only when the character becomes Archangel that he gets, in any kind of shape or form, interesting. So we all know the story about Apocalypse kind of implanting the death seed within him in order to kind of turn him into the next Apocalypse. Now X-Force were prepared for this, so they travel to the Age of Apocalypse under the direction of Dark Beast to claim the life seed, which was then to destroy the death seed. Dark Beast tricks everybody, and a lot of the X-Men from that alternate universe do perish. But in the end, it all turns to a very happy ending. Psylocke has to stab Archangel, and then he goes back to his kind of Warren personality, so he then becomes more of the normal Angel and gets this kind of Phoenix rise from the ashes type vibe to him when he then becomes all normal. I think the reason that Kabam have chosen to use Archangel is because Standard Angel is completely pathetic. He's a mediocre character at best. It's only when he becomes one of the Horsemen, this kind of Archangel type, that he becomes powerful in any kind of way. So the techno-organic wings are, used as just so powerful because he's faster, he's more stronger. So we've got things here: flight, obviously, wing blades, yes. His wings are razor sharp, runs along. So basically, you're going to see potentially in the game that if he's shooting a lot of these wing blades, then it's going to mean that characters are going to bleed. And if he's causing bleeds, and imagine using that with deep wounds, that's going to be really interesting. The L2, the L3 is going to be pretty good in any case. Wing shielding, yeah. So you're going to see like block proficiency is going to be high. Imagine that's like on the point of hit, and it's like they've got like, it's like sheeting. It's like sheeting there to kind of guard from attacks. I would say that in that case that you're going to be looking at kind of block proficiency and kind of absorption of armor, leveling that of Captain America World War II. It seems obvious, especially because the shielding is going to be that strong. Warren's new wings come with a discharge of Fletches, which carried a potent neurotoxin, paralyzing their mark on contact. Well, that's kind of saying that if we were then parrying then is a case of causing temporary paralysis, unless they're going to be poisonous. On the point of block, say a successful parry means a successful poison. That would be pretty cool. Imagine that. Regenerative healing factor, well, all characters get that. Hypersonic scream, both Archangel Entity and his clone Deathflight Legion could emit an intensive acoustic shrieking. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think it will be largely based on similar things to, I think, wing movements. Look at Falcon, but when it comes to things with regards to the fight, I think you're going to see things with the razor tips, and it's like causing bleeds. I think good shielding. So, like I said, shielding like Captain America. So you're blocking up and then parrying. Would it cause a poison with poisonous plumage? I don't know. I think they'll be kind of making the character a little bit too powerful. With regards to speed, I think the character will be fast, and you're going to see a lot of movement with things with regards to the wings, because the character won't be strong on punches. It'll be based on wing movements. So you're going to see when the character kind of turns like this, you're going to see like an extension of the wing kind of going forward. But I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with this character moving forward. I like the link between Psylocke and Archangel, this kind of X-Force type thing coming in. Not sure what we're going to see in the future when it comes to the story side of things, but something linking with their relationship would be amazing. But hey ho, it's all good. So guys, if you really enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to subscribe for more Marvel Contest of Champions based content, then please subscribe to myself, RichTheMan. Follow me on social media, link is in the description below. And as always, I shall catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye. Oh, and don't forget to put in the comments below what's your thoughts on Psylocke and Archangel and the special attacks as well as standard attacks they're going to get. Thanks again. Bye-bye.